So it turns out that Elon Musk appears to be leaving Twitter as Twitter CEO. Of course, he's still going to own the thing, but we'll get into that shortly. But I find Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter has been quite interesting, but also slightly confusing in some ways. But there have been some people who have done some good work looking into exactly the problem, and people who have got inside information, some of which we'll go through. Because there's this kind of Joker-esque way that Elon has taken over Twitter. Come in, caused absolute chaos, and now I'm kind of waiting for everything's up in the air, and I'm waiting for everything to land, particularly with the unsuspending of people.
I'm waiting for unsuspending of people.
It's been 5 years, Elon.
It's been 6 weeks.
Yeah, you got suspended from Twitter as well. Do you know why?
No, I mean, I can guess why, but they never you've broken their terms of service. Well, that could be anything.
Yeah. I did misgender someone once.
Yeah. The Taliban never seem to break their terms of service.
Yeah, it is weird.
And terrorist groups.
Yeah. The Iranian government.
Yeah.
It's just very strange. Anyway, before we begin, if you want to support us, go over to lotuseaters.com and check out our new series, which is Comics Corner, which is Harry and Connor analysing particular comic series they like. And I think this is interesting because it seems to tie in. It's, the Joker that they're doing this week. And I just felt it was thematically appropriate. But it's been getting a really good reception, so they must be doing a good job. Comics aren't my thing particularly, but everyone seems to really like it, so great. Anyway, let's begin with some Jokerish maneuvering by Elon Musk. So, #RipJimmyFallon was trending on Twitter. According to one commentator, it's trending because Twitter allows fake news now. There are no adults it allows fake news now. As if up until this point there was no fake news on Twitter. Nothing about Russian collusion or, nothing about the Hunter Biden laptop. Is suppressing true things a form of fake news? I would suggest it's a lie by omission. Who knows, right? But they carry on. There are no adults in the boardroom or moderators. Elon Musk fired them all. This is what Twitter looks like when anything goes and you can literally crash corporate stocks with a fake tweet. This is, of course, in reference... this is not what's being presented. It's just some other commentators' thing. I should have got the link, really. But this, of course, is because Elon Musk rolled out Twitter Blue's verification system, and people are like, but I'm not actually being verified. I'm just paying for the check mark, so I can put myself as anything. And so this caused this outrage. And so Jimmy Fallon just tweeted at Elon Musk being like, Elon, can you fix this? And Elon just responded with, fix what? And it's like, well, what do you really want him to do? Am I supposed to... No, you're not allowed to tweet this now? Am I supposed to Hunter Biden, #RipJimmyFallon? No. And again, this is hardly the first time fake news has been trending on Twitter. And of course he puts, sounds like a job for community notes, which is the new for basically the community can put tags on things and say, look, this is fake news or this is the context, whatever. I don't think it's a terrible idea, to be honest. But anyway, so in light of all of this, Twitter Blue had to be postponed because, as I said in my How Elon Musk Should Moderate Twitter article, actually he needs to verify the people who are paying for verification. You have to know exactly who they are in order to make sure that they're not impersonating people, because, of course, this was a major problem. I actually suggested, look, just have it so they actually don't get to change their names, as in they actually have to have their names, and so you don't end up with the problem that Count Dankula is in right now. And if you scroll up just to the woman above him as well, someone called Rational Blonde was like, I'm stuck as spicy chicken sandwich. Can I change it? And Elon's just like, well, with the new release, changing your verified name will cause a loss of checkmark until the name is confirmed by Twitter to meet the terms of service. Again, the easiest way to do this, if they're paying you, just use their credit card name, just first and last name. Don't worry about the middle name. There you go. You're verified. You are who you claim to be. You don't get to change it. And you don't get stuck as giant penis, brackets parody, as Count Dankula has found out, which amusing, but,
I think the issue for Elon here is when he came up with this, he had no concept how childish people can be.
Yes, indeed.
And how silly they can be.
Which is kind of ironic, given how he loves his memes, he loves tomfoolery on the internet, and he's got such a large platform. He must understand that he's setting the tone of the platform going forward. Yeah. And the people who are angry that he's taken this over are just going to be as vengeful as they can be, following his lead. So he should have expected that, really, I think. Kind of short-sighted. But anyway, so it is still confirmed, though, that all of the legacy blue check marks will be removed in a few months. And, of course, the new official tag has been reintroduced because it doesn't work, does it? Anyway, who knows? Who knows what will end up happening with that? But what I thought was interesting is there's a chap called Devin Nash, who is the founder of an ad agency, and put out this hour-long video that only 20,000 people saw. And so I thought I'd kind of promote it a bit, because this is very, very informative, because he claims to have direct knowledge of the inside situation at Twitter. Now, I can't confirm any of his claims, so I'm just going to present them as unconfirmed. But I think the most important thing that there was the takeaway from this, again, just look up what was really happening at Twitter, Devin Nash. It's an hour-long video, worth your time, because he's quite forensic with it, to be honest. He goes through in absolute detail. But I thought the most important thing that we would learn from this is really Twitter's financial position, because that's the issue. Now, Twitter's finances have been released, and I have looked at them. I just didn't get them up for this because I wasn't very interested in this table of spreadsheets. But apparently, Twitter is $20 billion in debt. They get $6 billion revenue a year, and they have $6 billion in cash just floating around. And so you can see Elon Musk's problem. They are operating at a loss of $4 million a week.
A week?
Yes. So you can see Elon Musk's problem here, right? They are deeply in debt, they're losing money, and I mean, they have, $6 billion in cash to hand. That's very useful, I imagine, but that's not going to last forever when you're losing $4 million a week. You're losing like 16 million a month. This starts chewing into your finances, and then you've got to pay off all of those people you've fired. If you fired half the company, like 3,500 people, well, you need to give them 3 months severance pay. And if they're on an average of something like $140,000 a year, well, all of this really chews into that $6 billion liquid capital that you just happen to have around. So not good. And so Elon has been pretty ruthless in putting the platform onto what he hopes is going to be a profitable path. He sent this memo out to Twitter staff, and obviously it got leaked. And this is ruthless, actually. I'm quite impressed with how it's just unrepentant he is about, no, you're all going. And as he says here, going forward, to build a breakthrough Twitter 2.0 and succeed in an increasingly competitive world, will need to be extremely hardcore. This will mean working long hours at high intensity. Only exceptional performance will constitute a passing grade. Twitter will also have to be much more engineer-driven. Design and product management will still be very important and report to me, but those writing great code will constitute the majority of our team and have the greatest sway. At its heart, Twitter is a software and service company, so I think this makes sense. If you are sure that you want to be part of the new Twitter, please click yes on the link below. Anyone who has not done so by 5 p.m. tomorrow will receive 3 months severance.
He's not messing about.
He's not messing about, is he?
He's not calling in the unions. He's not saying let's have a team away day and let's work out how together we can take the company forward. He's saying,
"You're in or you're out.
This is it."
Yeah. And the thing is, this was probably inevitable.
Had to be.
I mean, Silicon Valley social media companies. I think only Facebook's the only one that's ever made a profit, actually. But YouTube, Twitter, and various others are just not profitable companies and are being propped up because of their usefulness, frankly.
Yeah.
And Facebook has just had something like 13,000 layoffs recently, so that's about 12% of their entire company just gone. Twitter's had half, and you can see why. These things are massively overinflated. And I've seen lots of chatter about, well, this is affecting HR the most. This is affecting the diversity departments the most. Oh no. How tragic.
Did you see the accusation that he's now trying to starve his staff?
Oh no, how tragic.
Because he's now stopped free food in Twitter offices, which was costing 18 million a year. He's now cancelled that, and he's been accused now of trying to starve his staff into submission.
These guys get 6-figure salaries. But that just speaks to the entire mindset that preoccupies San Francisco, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, no, we are total dependents on you. You have to feed us. Yeah. Like in the Google offices, like you've got apparently there's this expectation where you have to be at the company all day, and like you can get beds and sleep in there and stuff like this. It's like, this is really unhealthy. Like this is weirdly kind of psychopathic, isn't it? It's like this complete corporate capture of the person. You never get to leave Google headquarters. That's crazy. You know, and it's the same sort of thing with the adult daycare that Twitter was. Like, why don't you just be here all day, every day? It's like, because that's really unhealthy, and I'd like to have a life. I'd like to do something.
We are your life.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And so, yes, no, I'm in favour of Elon starving the Twitter staff into submission. You get six-figure salary. Go and buy yourself a burger. Honestly, children, absolute children. So anyway, Elon's memo was pretty brutal, but it's also obvious that the man is serious about actually making Twitter a profitable company, which surely is not a bad idea. But of course, this led to brilliant takes like this one. Is Elon Musk intentionally trying to destroy Twitter with his Twitter 2.0 ultimatum to employees, or is he just an effing idiot? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the world's richest man is just an effing idiot, mate. I'm sure you've got it. I'm sure. And again, this was coming whether you liked it or not. You know, the question is just how much debt was Twitter going to be able to rack up? You know, because all the money that Twitter was getting prior to this was apparently coming from banks, right? This is what Devin was talking about in his video, and so is okay. Well, how many loans are the banks going to give you? Until it's like, look, you've got a super unprofitable company. We're just not going to give you a loan anymore. In fact, we're going to call in and we're going to take your assets and we're going to take over your company. Like, how long? Who knows? You know, but it couldn't have lasted forever, and so it hasn't. And so you've got brilliant parody takes from The Onion. Elon Musk demands Twitter servers explain what all those wires are for. Elon Musk is an engineer. like these jokes for some reason don't land, because that's not the problem with Elon Musk. The problem with Elon Musk is actually the lack of stability and calmness with which he has approached this. He's approached this rather like a bull in a china shop, which, don't get me wrong, as someone who's not on Twitter, is watching it remotely, is hilarious, but it's definitely not the way I think it should have been approached.
I think if your joke is based on Elon Musk isn't very intelligent, then it can't be funny, because we all know he's very intelligent.
He's obviously a smart guy, yeah.
There's lots of things you can accuse him of. You know, lots of things. Being dictatorial.
Being reckless.
Being reckless. Lots of things
Being
you can
frivolous.
accuse him of. But not that he's not intelligent.
Or that he doesn't know anything about tech.
Yes.
Like, he's a tech bro. Of course he knows about tech. Like, this is why the left can't meme. Anyway, so after everyone was calling him stupid, to no real effect, it turned out that it was suggested that Elon is probably going to be leaving Twitter fairly soon, which I was quite surprised about, but not terribly shocked about, if that makes any sense. As in, I didn't think it'd be like so soon he'd be thinking about handing the company off, but I thought it was obvious that at some point he would be installing a new CEO. He'd maintain ownership of the company, obviously, after making it profitable, and the new CEO to run it, you know, because he's got other things. He's got a lot of other things going on, I imagine. So, it wasn't terribly shocking that would be the case. But I think it's surprising that it's so soon, these talking about, because everything is still wild and up in the air, right?
I would imagine his thinking is, in fact, not what he's thinking, but my thinking would be Elon goes in, takes all the flack, becomes the hated figure, does all the nasty stuff straight away, steps back, someone else comes in, and they have the fresh start to help build the company and get advertisers back and stuff. But while Elon is still at the helm, all that is harder because he's the hated figure.
Yeah, but there's no doubt about the fact that a brutal reconfiguration of the company has to take place.
Yes.
You know, half the staff have to go. You know, anyone who's not 100% committed, you know, all the time has to go. You know, all of these extraneous drains on the finances of the company have to go. You know, and so like you say, that's a good point, actually. Very Machiavellian, actually. Very, you know, clever thinking. But anyway, as Business Insider tell us, Elon Musk has apparently suggested a potential successor who could fill his role as CEO of Tesla. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I misread that. I thought it was Twitter, not Tesla. Balls. This is what happens when you're in a hurry in the morning. But moving on then, because this I totally misread that. Yeah, I thought it looks like I pulled the wrong article. Yeah, John's saying that he saw it as well, so I must have just got the wrong article, because the reason I brought this up is because Jack Dorsey had been asked this as well. If you go to the next one, he'd been asked, if you just want to open this up, you can see the Reuters. There's not much to this really. It was just that someone yesterday had asked him, "Are you going to accept the position of CEO of Twitter?" And so I guess I didn't read that previous article correctly. But he was asked by Twitter if he'd accept the position of CEO, and he replied nope. So I believe if you can try and find something very quickly, John, cover my embarrassment. John, pull that up. I can't believe I made that bloody rookie mistake.
You couldn't have Jack Dorsey back as CEO.
Or why not? Why do you not think so?
Isn't he part of the problem how we got here in the first place?
Kind of. Here we go. Right, okay. Thank you, John. I appreciate you saving my ass there. God, what an embarrassment.
Carl Benjamín is making things up now live on air.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be professional at this. But anyway, as you see, he expects to find a new CEO over time. What, did he give a time span? No, he didn't give a time span. But as it says, according to multiple media reports, he says, I expect to reduce my time at Twitter and find someone else to run Twitter over time. There we go. So he will at some point be leaving. I'm surprised that this, as I said, this news comes so soon. I would have thought, because it's only been like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, I would have thought, I mean, it's just show how quickly Musk moves on things, really. And to be fair, he's not been slow at all. I would have thought this would have been at least after, a couple of months. Elon would have let the ship right itself and sailed it for a while and then been like, right, okay, someone else can take the helm. But apparently not even a month in. And he's like, yeah, so over time, someone else is going to get it. But yeah, like I said, Jack Dorsey isn't going to get it. But you were saying he was part of the problem, right?
I don't know that much about Jack Dorsey, but my initial feeling would be, here's the man who allowed Twitter to turn into what Twitter became. He may not have been on board with all that, but he was weak enough to let it happen. There's baggage with everybody. Taking former staff back into a company always has negatives. So for me, and thinking he wants a fresh start and a new way of doing things, why would you want the old boss coming back who then tells you this isn't how we did things at Twitter in my day? Well, this isn't your day.
So I would suggest that what happened with Twitter is that Jack Dorsey and co. Created this interesting thing, and it started getting popular, and they needed to raise revenue. And so what I think they did is, got a lot of shareholders in, and these shareholders often came from, international investment conglomerates. And Jack Dorsey essentially found himself in a position where he couldn't leverage any kind of executive power. And so he would essentially be forced to go along with all of these things, or else we'll stop giving you money. And of course, you've got companies that are profitable, and so the whole thing collapses. And so I think I've thought this for a while, actually, with a lot of the sort of like, same with Zuckerberg. I think they're in a position where they can't really object to what's happening, even though they don't really agree with it. Because I actually do think that Jack Dorsey and Zuckerberg are not radical progressive lunatics. I think they've just kind of been co-opted by them. And so it was a lack of actual power. Oh, here we go. John's got another update as well. On Monday, Musk said in a tweet since deleted that he plans to sleep at Twitter's headquarters until the organization is fixed. Well, good luck with that, Elon. But the point is, I don't think Jack Dorsey is actually a terrible suggestion. I know, radical coming from me, this. Because, he's explained his position on it. Like, he's quite good friends with Elon, apparently. And he's explained that he should have had it as a decentralized sort of Mastodon-style server from the start, and should never have been able to be owned publicly. But now that it is owned by one man, and if Jack Dorsey is then made CEO, then he's got complete executive control over it. So actually, the problem of being sort of taken over in the way that happened actually shouldn't happen twice, and maybe Jack would be able to actually run the thing properly. Maybe not.
I think it all depends if you know Jack Dorsey or not, which I don't.
I don't know him, but I've followed this for quite some time, so who knows? But there we are. That's so Elon Musk is apparently after some time leaving Twitter. We don't know how long yet, obviously. But the question, I suppose, then is who will be the next CEO, and we don't know that either. So
Well, if
not terribly informative.
If he brings me back, I'll put in an application.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I'll definitely pay the $8 too.